Hi, this is Richard Blade, and you're listening to the Blue Zone Podcast Network as it presents Permanent Record, an in-depth look at the classic albums of the 70s and 80s, albums which have earned a permanent place of honor, both in our hearts and in our record collections.
Hail to Robert Smith and the Cure.
Okay, those are the new words to the song.
Those are the new words. Hail to Robert Smith and the Cure.
That's really low.
And we are, of course, sending our congratulations out to them. Not that they'll ever hear it.
No.
Congratulations, guys. You're being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Woohoo! All right.
You beat Depeche Mode there.
Yeah, which I guess I'm okay with because, first of all, they did exist before Depeche Mode.
Oh, that's a good point.
And they are more of a rock-type band than Depeche Mode ever was.
Yeah, I saw somebody on Twitter say, don't you think the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame should be changed to the Music Hall of Fame?
Yeah, but it's not all music. It's definitely
lots of different kinds of music.
It is lots of different kinds of music, but it's not country music because they have their own Hall of Fame, don't they?
I don't know.
I think they do. Another group that got nominated and inducted this year is Roxy Music.
So Roxy Music is in there with Cure, right?
Correct, yep.
Okay, I thought you said they were already inducted.
No, they made this year's class of nominees.
That's what I
they
thought.
Made theirs, yeah.
That's awesome, too.
Yeah.
Good old Brian Ferry.
Yes.
He's a slave to love.
Yeah.
So congratulations to them as well. Roxy Music and The Cure. This week, as the guys in The Cure have been doing publicity for the announcement, I did see Robert Smith announce that Cure is going to release a new album in 2019.
Yeah, I saw that too. I'll believe it when I see it and hear it.
Yeah, that's normally how I am with him since he does like to tell lies.
Yeah.
But I kind of believe him this time just because it's a good opportunity to do it.
Well, yeah. And, they just celebrated the 40th anniversary of the band forming. I think he's kind of been rejuvenated from some recent tours that he's done, recent performances. I'm sure I would think he's itching to get back and record some music and put some more product out for us.
Hopefully he is. I'd like to hear some new music. I'd also love to get Cure and Orange on Blu-ray finally.
Yeah, that would be nice.
They should release it on Blu-ray before DVDs and Blu-rays cease to exist.
I know, right?
So,
yeah.
Robert, get on that.
Get your people on that.
All right, another thing I want to talk about before we get to the meat of the episode, Sarah.
Yeah?
I just want to remind everybody about our Christmas giveaway this year.
Yes, indeed. We are running out of time to remind people of it, and people are running out of time to participate. So we definitely need to get the word out for that.
That's right. So this year's prize is amazing.
Oh, it is. Very generous, I must say.
It's a bunch of stuff we no longer want.
Yeah, some hand-me-downs. I just discarded things,
But keep in mind, these are CDs that have been on our CD shelf. That's amazing.
Right. Owned by us, yes.
Yes. How many people can say they have that? Over the course of the year, we bought all those Pet Shop Boys Further Listening releases. So we have a bunch of older Pet Shop Boys CDs that if you haven't purchased those and added them to your collection, if you only have them as downloads maybe, or you just listen to them on the radio.
Yeah, right.
Maybe you would want them. So we're giving away 2 sets of 3 discs. We're going to pick 2 winners, Sarah.
Yes, 2 winners this year. Big change from last year.
And it looks like we have copies of Actually, Introspective, Please, Behavior, Bilingual. And I thought we had Nightlife. I got to check. If we don't come up with Nightlife, we will give away Yes.
Okay.
Which is a 2-disc.
Wow.
So,
bonus.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool.
Okay. So how do people win? How do they get a chance to win this stuff?
Along with the CDs, don't forget you'll get our, legendary handwritten notes.
Oh, yes.
That we always include, which are
that's right.
Super famous.
Also collectible.
They are.
Right.
And we might throw a couple extra things in there.
Oh, really?
You never know.
Okay.
If you want to win one of the prizes, all you need to do is go on to our social media, be it Facebook
or Twitter.
Although I'm not sure you can post something on someone's Twitter feed, can you? I don't really know Twitter that well.
Maybe that's why we haven't gotten any on Twitter.
Maybe. So anyway, go on to Facebook.
Definitely Facebook works. We know that. We've gotten some good entries already.
Yeah. And on our wall, we just need you to share a link to your favorite Christmas song.
Yes.
YouTube is probably the best place to find it. Just put a link and say, hey guys, this is my favorite Christmas song. Merry Christmas to you.
Right.
Whatever you want to say. But if you share your favorite Christmas song on our wall, then you are entered in the drawing for the prizes. And the deadline is when I go to bed on Christmas Eve, Sarah.
Right. Whenever that ends up being.
That's right. So if it's not there when I go to bed, but it's there when I wake up on Christmas Day.
Wah, wah. Sorry.
Too little, too late.
That's right.
And then in the week between Christmas and New Year's, we will pick a winner, 2 winners.
2 winners.
And notify them via Facebook Messenger or email
somehow,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Smoke signal, I don't know. Telegram.
So that should be cool.
We've gotten some good entries already. We hope to see more. And don't be put off if someone has already posted your favorite Christmas song. Go ahead and post it again because, you can't help it if it's your favorite.
Yeah, we want a lot of Christmas music on our wall this week. And
that's right.
And it's helping us get in a more festive mood.
Indeed.
Did you watch the Max Headroom Christmas?
No, I didn't watch that yet. I need to.
It was crazy.
Okay, I'm going to have to watch that.
And the last thing I wanted to remind folks of before we get started, I just wanted to remind you, because we don't mention it very often after I went through the trouble of setting it up, but we do have a voicemail box.
That's right.
Available, and we want to use it just to get people's thoughts on their records that we're going to talk about. As we hit 2019, we're going to come out of the gate with a lot of great albums.
Oh, yeah.
I think. Don't forget, you can always reach out to us at 724-490-8324. And there's a friendly little voicemail that says, Hi, leave a message. And then you can, let us know what you think about us or the music or whatever.
That's right.
And we still like hearing from everybody on email and
we do
and Facebook Messenger.
We love all the interactions we get.
We're just trying to add some new things here to the capabilities of the show.
That's right. One thing we do always love and enjoy and appreciate very much are the reviews we get on iTunes. We've said before we don't exactly know how they work to help us, but they do something. And again, we're very appreciative of them. And just a couple of days ago, we got another one.
Yeah, we have 2 new reviews since the last time we spoke to you.
So you have one and I have one.
The first one we got a few days ago from Butter Assassin 23.
Wow.
And this was a crazy one, as you'll find out in a second.
Okay.
It's a 5-star review with the title, Hi.
Okay.
I was introduced to the podcast by my dad. He's Brian's friend. Loved the Bohemian Rhapsody episode. Keep it up, guys. I'm loving your podcast. Smiley face.
Oh, that's great.
And so that was from my buddy Mike's son, Hayden. So Hayden, thanks for checking out the podcast and for the nice review. We appreciate it.
It's awesome to know we're reaching a young generation.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
It's probably the youngest person that's reviewed our podcast so far.
Probably. We have a friend in Brazil.
That's right. Yeah, he's probably next youngest.
He's also quite young.
Yes. Yes,
he's too young to be listening to this old people music.
I know, right? No. We're glad to introduce music to people whatever their age. And to that end, I have another review that kind of talks to that. So this was just a couple days ago, and this is from CCINS1. It's titled, This Must Be the Podcast I've Waited Years to Hear.
I love that reference.
I do too. It's like, I can already tell where he might have found out about us. And it's a 5-star review. And he goes on to say, I am so glad this podcast was recently mentioned on the Geo Wayne Pet Shop Boys site, and I can't believe I hadn't heard of it until now. Brian and Sarah are incredible hosts delivering insightful commentary backed by incredible research as they revisit these brilliant albums track by track. A lot of superlatives in there. I have been listening non-stop for the last week. Even when they are covering albums I am not familiar with, every episode is fascinating and more than worth your time. Even when I don't agree with some of their opinions, cough, It Couldn't Happen Here is one of their best songs ever. Cough.
I think I said I wasn't too crazy about that one.
I value their insight and conversation. As a kid growing up in America, I was convinced I was the only person listening to this incredible music. Glad to know Brian and Sarah were out there too and have brought us this podcast, which is truly a gift.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think that review was a gift to us too. So,
yeah, really.
So thank you so much. We really, really appreciate it.
That was really nice, very well written, and very appreciated.
Yeah, very, very complimentary. Again, a lot of use of superlatives in there. Very, very nice.
Yep. And we definitely were out there at the same time cranking those tunes.
For sure.
So it's great to hear from you. All right, so this is going to be our last show before the end of the year, before Christmas. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to do something to maybe help get us a little bit into the Christmas spirit and maybe help you get into the Christmas spirit.
Yes.
And to that end, we have decided to talk about 4 of our favorite tracks off of the 1987 charity album, A Very Special Christmas.
Yes, indeed. 1980s were a very important time for charity music, charity singles, all kinds of artists getting together and raising money for different causes. And this is just another one in that long line.
This project, The Very Special Christmas, has been the single most successful benefit recording in music history.
I wouldn't doubt it from everything I've read as well.
Based on what they say on their website, they have raised more than $131 million to support the Special Olympics across the whole world.
That's incredible. That's amazing. Very impressive.
The organization that releases these albums has been active for over 30 years now. Seems crazy.
Yeah.
but it has been over 30 years.
Yes. Yeah. Last year was the 30th anniversary of this album. We missed doing that last year, but that's okay. It's still a good album to talk about.
Sure is.
So the person who came up with this idea, doing a Christmas album with a lot of different artists on it, was Jimmy Iovine. And he's a pretty famous guy in the music world.
He's a very famous producer.
Yeah.
He's worked with probably almost everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Now he has kind of moved on to different things. He does the beats with Dr. Dre. But back in this time, he was, still a producer, a very famous one. And he wanted to do a Christmas album in honor of his late father. His father had loved Christmas. His father passed away in 1985. So he, had this idea of doing a Christmas album. And Jimmy's wife at the time, her name was Vicky, she had been working with Special Olympics. And she said, why not do an album to benefit Special Olympics and, not just put one out for, profit or anything. So they brought that idea to the founder of Special Olympics, which is Eunice Kennedy Shriver. And she agreed to the project. So that was good. They got Special Olympics on board.
And because everyone involved donates their time and waives their fees, even the record label and all the producers, 100% of the profits from the record, they worked it out, would go back to Special Olympics.
Right. And that's an incredible thing because a lot of times, there's overhead costs and people fighting and stuff like that. They want their take and things like that. That didn't happen here.
And sometimes it's even just the label doesn't want their artist to work with another label.
Right. Yeah.
It's not even money. It's just,
politics.
Yeah.
Jimmy had 15 people in mind for this album, and all 15 artists that Jimmy had wanted to appear on the album agreed to do the project when they were asked. So that's also pretty incredible. Everybody was willing and able to do it.
Very cool. And I know that he produced this album, and then he produced a few songs on the second installment.
Yes.
And then after that point, he kind of stepped away.
Right. His career was kind of going in a different direction at that point, but legacy has lived on.
And one of the things that has helped it live on throughout all these years, these 30 years, is the iconic artwork on the cover of these albums.
Absolutely.
They changed the colors of each release, but it always has the same basic artwork, which is that figure with no features. And the iconic cover is by the artist Keith Haring. And we talked about him in our David Bowie Let's Dance episode because he did the artwork on the U.S. single of Without You. And I can't remember if we talked about him. I know we talked about him with Andrew.
I think we did.
I don't know if we did that on an episode, though, or if we were just kind of talking with him.
Yeah, I don't know if that made it to the listening public or not.
Yeah, we talked with Andrew about Erasure and the Pet Shop Boys.
Yeah.
There's no reason why we would have talked about him as an artist in those episodes.
I don't think so.
So maybe that was just us chatting away.
This is definitely has to be his most well-known artwork just because of the sheer number of sales that these albums have had over the years. And it's a great picture. It's so iconic. Yeah, like you said, they use different coloring for each edition.
Yeah, but it's always that same basic picture that I think everybody recognizes.
Very simple line drawing, and yeah, it's wonderful. And did you know that Keith Haring was born in Reading, PA, and grew up in Kutztown?
What?
Yeah.
That's not very far from us.
No, it isn't. Kind of cool, isn't it?
Crazy.
So we've kind of talked about how well this album did or has done and how much money it's raised. Let's go back to the actual release and chart history of it.
Okay.
It was released in October of 1987. This I know for sure. Wikipedia said October 12th. And then the Recording Industry of America, the RIAA, they said also October 12th, which was really confusing to me when I looked back on the calendar. That was a Monday. Music didn't normally come out on Mondays back then. Anyway, it was released in mid-October of 1987. That we know for sure. Then it got to the number 1 on the Billboard Holiday Album Chart the weeks of December 12th and December 19th. I had never heard of such a thing, and I guess it's something that they only do at the holiday season each year. They have this holiday album chart, which is generally Christmas albums, but other ones are involved too. So you don't have a lot of chart information on this, but it was number 1 2 weeks in a row in 1987. And then it was number 1 again the next year for 2 weeks in 1988.
Cool.
And then it was on the charts for a couple years after that, lower, like 3 and 4, as newer albums came out and were more important. But over the years, it has still been very, very popular. It has sold a ton of copies.
Yeah, and I think they re-released it last year.
Yeah, there was a 30th anniversary edition that came out last year, but I'm sure people were buying the original one as well. By January of 1998, the album had been certified quadruple platinum by the RIAA. That means it sold over 4 million copies. And that was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So I have to think it sold more than that.
That's a weird number, though. I saw that, but then I also saw that SoundScan in 2014 said that it sold 2.5 million.
Yeah.
The numbers don't really match.
Well, yeah, and the SoundScan era is kind of different because it doesn't start tracking things until March of 1991.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
So I think from 1991 to 2014, it sold 2.5 million copies.
I gotcha. That makes sense.
So I can't do that math, but suffice to say, it has sold a lot of copies. And that is why it has also raised so much money for Special Olympics. And this album and the subsequent ones, what did you say? It was like over $100 million have been raised?
They have raised over $131 million to support the Special Olympics.
That's wonderful.
And they spend that money all over the world, and it plays a crucial role in areas, especially where people hold prejudiced views of people with intellectual disabilities.
Right. I've seen they've helped people in Russia and South Africa. Can't remember.
They have a map on their website that shows you everywhere they are involved.
Yeah, those two countries just stuck out for some reason. They had really gotten a lot of support there. So, yeah, it's a great program. It's a great thing that they put this together. Good on Vicky Iovine, who suggested this going to charity instead of just kind of a vanity event for the pop stars at the time.
Yep, very nice.
I actually found some reviews from back in the day. One was not so great, but one was really long and really great.
What? Who would... You mean not so great like it was mean to the album?
Yeah, they weren't all that impressed with it.
Holy cow.
So People Magazine had a section, I don't know if they still do, called Picks and Pans, and it's their review section.
That must have been written by Ebenezer Scrooge.
I know. And it was from December 21st, 1987. Starts off by saying, rock vocalists, like opera singers, aren't the most flexible performers in the world. Take them even an arm's length out of their element, and they usually sound like they're belting out margarine jingles. That holds true for most of this star-studded album, with everyone from U2 to Whitney Houston to Run DMC contributing to the package, from which the Special Olympics funds get most of the net proceeds. In general, this gang has a tendency to get too perky, or else insufferably show-offy, with the old Yuletide spirit. The Eurythmics' Annie Lennox sings Winter Wonderland appealingly, and the Pretenders' Chrissy Hynde does an affecting Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Both ladies give these standards intimate but surreal moods, like one of those snow-filled paperweights. If nothing else, A Very Special Christmas fits the season. It has enough ups and downs to make a good sledding run. I didn't go into all the bad reviewed parts, but there were definitely some where this reviewer was not impressed. The New York Times did a really long article on this album when it was released, and it was from October 25th, 1987. John Rockwell wrote it. Jingle Bell Rock in an all-star anthology. There are 15 cuts here, only 2 of which by Bruce Springsteen and Sting have been released in any form, and those as the B-sides of singles. The other 13 are brand new. Not one is less than pleasant, and several are downright exciting.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. The other artists are the Pointer Sisters, Eurythmics, Whitney Houston, The Pretenders, John Cougar Mellencamp, Run DMC, U2, Madonna, Bob Seger, Bryan Adams, Bon Jovi, Alison Moyet, and Stevie Nicks. And the artist Keith Haring did the jacket art. Another shout out to him. To this taste, the contributions from the Pretenders, Mr. Mellencamp, and Mr. Seeger are a little ordinary, although they hardly impede one's enjoyment of the project as a whole. Most successful are space-age folkish treatments of traditional tunes from Sting's Gabriel's Message, Miss Moyet, Coventry Carol, and Miss Nicks, Silent Night. No Christmas album would be complete without such high-toned sentimentality. But ultimately, A Very Special Christmas transcends its all-star status, any individual contribution, and even its charitable purpose. This is a collection that makes for terrific, cheerful listening. It honors its predecessors and justifies itself as art, after which all its other intentions and aspirations fall happily into place. Merry Christmas, everybody, even if it's still October. So there's a nice long review. If you're able to go through the New York Times archives and find it, it's worth a read.
Very cool.
Shall we get down to talking about the songs?
Let's do it.
All right.
So what's the first one you chose?
Well, it's one we've mentioned. It's, I think, the second one on the album. It's Winter Wonderland by the Eurythmics. Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight we're having tonight. Walking in a winter wonderland. Gone away is the bluebird. Here to stay is the new bird. He sings a love song. Oh, I love that song.
That is one of my very favorite, like, modern era pop music carols to listen to.
Yeah.
So much good stuff about that.
Yeah, with good reason. It's a beautiful rendition. And lots of other people agree with you because in November of 2007, ASCAP, the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers, listed Winter Wonderland as the most played ASCAP member-written holiday song of the previous 5 years. And they said that the Eurythmics 1987 version of the song is the one that's most commonly played.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I don't know if that's true 11 years later, but it's still one of my very favorites. So the song was actually written back in 1934. by Felix Barnard, and the lyrics were written by Richard B. Smith. And it's funny because if you think about it, it's actually not a Christmas song because they never mention Christmas.
Nope, it's one of those songs kind of like Jingle Bells.
Right, exactly.
We play it every Christmas time, but has nothing really to do with Christmas.
No, it doesn't. I found a neat story about the lyrics to the song. Smith was a native of another Pennsylvania town called Honesdale. Maybe you've heard of Honesdale. It's where Highlights magazine is from.
Oh, I have not heard of it, but I know Highlights magazine.
Yeah. So another Pennsylvania guy. He was inspired to write the song after seeing Honesdale's Central Park covered in snow. He was writing the lyrics while he was being treated for tuberculosis in the West Mountain Sanitarium in Scranton.
Poor him.
Yeah. He was depressed, and I guess he saw this scene in the winter and just thought it was really pretty and cheered him up a little.
I guess so. Scranton, also known as the Electric City.
That's right. Yeah, it's a lot of Pennsylvania stuff going on in this podcast so far. Kind of cool. Since its original recording by a guy named Richard Himber, it has been covered by more than 200 different artists.
Wow.
Yeah, including Darlene Love, Johnny Mathis, Frank Sinatra, Amy Grant, Michael Bublé, and Radiohead. That's just to name a few. Every person that ever does a Christmas album seems to do this song.
No, it's a great song.
Yeah. I have a little review from 2016 from a website called The Odyssey, where they did a track-by-track review of this album. And they said, if the Pointer Sisters tackle their song with abandon, the Eurythmics take a rather different approach. Turning the song into a relatively simple synth-pop affair, the real star is Annie Lennox, whose performance is textbook example in restraint. Though her vocals are layered in some parts, and she lets her pipes run wild in parts, her straightforward reading of the main part showcases a voice that's as rich, smooth, and creamy as a glass of eggnog. This one's worth staying for.
Oh, yeah.
I have to agree.
This song is so awesome. Her voice is amazing, as always, but you get those great synthetic drums.
Yeah.
And it's like, this was 87. I guess the Eurythmics were probably working on or had just released Be Yourself Tonight.
Yeah.
So they were sort of getting away from like that real heavy synth pop sound.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They're bringing more guitars in and more organic instruments. So it's great to hear them go back to these really pristine keyboard sounds and these obviously artificial drums.
Yeah.
I love this song.
Yeah. Yeah, the drums are great in this song. I think that they're very crisp and crackling like icicles or crunchy snow.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that combined with the warm synth sounds and her voice, it's just a lovely package all put together.
Yep, it does sonically help create the image of a winter wonderland in your head as you listen.
Yeah, and her voice is really good, and like the reviewer says, she does show restraint, but not the whole time. I mean, there's some parts in the middle in the bridge where she's kind of riffing and she's doing her ad-libbing, especially at the end too.
Yep.
It's not, completely by the book, but it's a nice mix of her following the rules and, being very restrained and showing off her, her vocal abilities. I really like this. I'm glad that you like this song too, and I think this was a great song to kick off our little discussion.
It was indeed.
Good.
All right, so everyone's starting to feel very Christmassy, I hope, and I'm going to put a stop to that.
Oh, no.
My first song, Sarah, that I chose to discuss is Alison Moyet's Coventry Carol.
Oh, okay.
Lula, thou little tiny child, bye bye, Luli, Luli. Oh, sisters too, how may we do?
All right, so thank you, Allison. That was beautiful as always.
So lovely.
This song, Sarah,
Yes?
your song may be old.
Yeah. 1934.
This song is old.
Oh, yeah.
This song was written in the 16th century,
Wow.
and it was part of a mystery play
Oh.
called The Pageant of the Sherman and Taylors, which was performed in Coventry,
Okay.
which I read online. I'm going to say this here just in an attempt to try to get someone to argue with me.
Okay.
I don't care if I'm wrong. It doesn't matter to me, and I don't even know if it's true. I kind of looked on a map, and it
Okay.
seems like it's probably true.
Okay.
But Coventry is the most central city in England.
Wow.
So let me know if I'm wrong about that.
Okay.
So mystery plays are some of the earliest examples that we have of developed scripted plays.
Right.
With actors that had costumes. Mm-hmm. And it was actors because there were no actresses.
Right.
Actors had to play
Female parts.
and things.
Yeah.
But these are some of the earliest plays that historians know of. And the purpose of them was to reenact important stories from the Bible. And so the one that this song is taken from depicts the Christmas story, as it's told in chapter 2 of the Gospel of Matthew.
Okay.
And part of that tale is the event called the Massacre of the Innocents.
Oh my.
This is when King Herod ordered that all male infants under the age of 2 be put to death because he wanted to prevent Jesus from living to become the future king.
Okay.
So in the play, this song is actually sung by the mothers to their babies to comfort the babies as Herod's men move through the city, just like killing babies.
Oh my gosh. That is brutal.
It's extremely brutal and not very Christmassy.
No, not really.
And in fact, it's not really, as you can tell, a Christmas song. It's a song linked to the Feast of the Holy Innocents.
Okay.
Which is something that occurs on December 28th.
Oh, so it's actually after Christmas.
It is.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. It would have to be, right? Can't kill the baby until it's born.
That's right.
Ugh.
The song is very, very old, and it's kind of neat, the story of how we even know about it right now.
Okay.
So back in March of 1534.
March 1534, okay.
Yes. A guy named Robert Crew, he wrote down the lyrics of this song and the script of the entire play that it featured in. And the reason he did that is because he was basically like a city manager in Coventry for the various pageants and mystery plays that they would have.
Oh.
There are like pay receipt records of him being paid to like work on costumes.
Wow.
And he would repair sets. And one source said that he would also like take the old plays and copy them and add some new dialogue if he felt it needed it.
Wow.
But it mentioned that like his dialogue was always very wooden and didn't fit in as well.
He was better a manager than a writer.
Yeah, evidently. So he had these records, these manuscripts and records that he kept.
Okay.
So if you skip ahead like 300 years to 1817, an historian who lived in Coventry as well, his name was Thomas Sharp, he published a book in which he very carefully recreated all of Crew's notes and manuscripts. I think he only made like 12 copies.
Wow.
But he wanted he and his friends who were interested in history to be able to have access to these manuscripts.
Wow.
So that's why he created the first book. Then a few years later in 1825, he did a second edition, which also had the music notation for the songs.
Okay.
And this is all really fortunate because in 1879, Crew's original manuscript was destroyed.
Oh, no.
Because it was in the Birmingham Free Library, which burned to the ground in 1879.
What a shame.
So our records of this play and one other one from that Coventry town in the days of 1534. We only know of them because of these books that Thomas Sharp took the time to create and to publish.
Well, we got to thank him.
We do thank him. Thanks, Thomas.
Yes.
When I was starting to read about this song, reading the lyrics and the history, even though I've been listening to it for, I guess, almost 30 years, I, for some reason, was still really shocked that that's what it was about.
Yeah.
I must have never, ever paid attention to the lyrics because it's not cleverly hidden.
No.
Like this is the third verse.
Okay.
Herod the king in his raging charged he hath this day his men of might in his own sight, all young children to slay.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, and Alison says it.
Yeah. I never really realized that either.
No, I guess because I'm usually like when we're playing it, I'm either driving or we're putting up the Christmas tree. Or
this is not one we have ever sung along with. Not like Winter Wonderland.
Right. This isn't a song that is all that well known, I don't think, here in America.
No, I don't think so either.
I had never heard of it until hearing this record.
Right.
And have rarely heard it otherwise.
No.
Or afterwards, I mean.
Yeah, understandably so, though, because as we've just discovered, it's really not a Christmas song. So it's not one they're going to be playing at Christmas time if you're being technical.
Right. But it is, the melody and the harmonies are very beautiful. It is a beautiful song. So Alison, I'm not surprised that she features on this album, even if she wasn't all that popular in the United States at this point, because she had just been working that year with Iovine on Rain Dancing.
Oh, okay.
Her second solo album. He produced it.
Oh, okay.
So it's not surprising if they'd been working together that year that he would invite her to be on the record.
Sure.
So it appears to, in my research, that the music for this track is not handled by her band from the Rain Dancing sessions, but it's handled by a man named Pete Oxendale.
Oh, okay.
And he's a name that I've seen numerous times over the years. We've never talked about him, but he was a keyboardist in Sparks. He was a live keyboardist for Frankie Goes to Hollywood. And most noteworthy to me, he was a keyboardist and songwriter for a very short while, in Dead or Alive.
Oh, okay.
He appeared on their album Fan the Flame.
Okay.
Which is probably my least favorite Dead or Alive album.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But was still in Dead or Alive.
Okay, yep. So I wonder if he's from Liverpool. He's got those connections.
He does.
That's very interesting.
I noticed in the liner notes that the song was recorded at Blackwing Studios in London, which all fans of early Depeche Mode and Yaz and
Other
Fat Gadget, you're going to recognize that name.
Mute Records.
That's
stuff.
right.
Very cool.
So I really, really like this song. Maybe a little less now that I know what it's about.
Right? Yeah, it's still beautiful, though. She does a lovely rendition.
She does. The fact that there's no chorus, it's just these very simple verses.
Right.
This really allows the beauty of Alison's voice to shine through. I think there's some really gorgeous harmonies, and you really notice them because the only accompaniment you get while she's singing is basically just the bass line.
Yeah, that's true.
And so that lets you focus on her voice. There's a thing in here called a Picardy Third.
Oh.
Which I had no clue what it was, but it said, this is an excellent example of a Picardy Third.
Oh, all right then.
So what a Picardy Third is, it's a major chord at the end of a musical section that is in a minor key.
Aha.
And I knew right away that I knew what part they were talking about,
Yeah.
even though I didn't know that's what it was.
Right.
There's just a part in here that sounds very interesting, and I just took a sample of it out. This is what the Picardy Third is. You're going to get, I don't know what chord it is, but you're going to get a major chord here at the end of this section.
Might in his own sight, all young children to slay.
Doesn't that sound pretty cool?
It's beautiful, but it's kind of funny that the word slay is the one that goes into the major chord. It's like,
I know,
it's like
yep.
so hopeful and beautiful. And the word slay,
Maybe she meant sleigh as in one horse open.
sure, perhaps.
All right, and so in closing, I just want to also take us over to the Odyssey website.
Oh, yes.
Where they have their track-by-track review, and I
Right.
just want to tell everyone what this review says about this song. An obscure song choice and the best cut on the album.
Ooh.
Alison Moyet's voice is often combined with multiple tracks put together, though her vibrato-laden, husky voice still shines in all its glory. The music is haunting, and Moyet shows admirable restraint until the end, where she lets that soulful wonder run wild. A permanent addition to any Christmas playlist.
Very nice. Very, very favorable review of that song as well.
It's an addition to your any Christmas playlist, but it's definitely something you should have on your Feast of the Innocents playlist.
For sure. Yes, most definitely. When it's December 28th and you're putting together a playlist, yes,
Yep.
This would be number one.
That's right. All right. So, Sarah, that is not the most cheerful of songs to talk about before Christmas. So hopefully you can lift us up a little bit.
Well, I can try. Mine is sort of in the same vein as far as the amount of instrumentation going along with it, but I think the message might be a little bit more uplifting. The song I chose for my second selection is Gabriel's Message by Sting. Okay, so your song was based on something from like the 1500s or so?
That's right.
Okay, I got you beat again. This song is even older, at least the original song on which it's based.
Darn it.
Yeah. The song is also known as The Angel Gabriel from Heaven Came, which is the first line of the song.
Right.
That's a common thing, hymns and carols, to, just have the first line be the title. Mm-hmm. So this is actually a Basque carol, which is a region of Spain, and it's based on a Latin carol, Angelus ad Virginum, which dates back to the 13th or 14th century. Yeah, they're not even sure how old, but it's definitely older than your song.
Okay. Don't rub it in.
Okay, sorry. So the original title of the Basque song, I'm not going to butcher that, but a man named Charles Bordes collected that and published it in a series called Archives de la Tradition Basque in 1895. And a man named Sabine Baring-Gould, who had written several novels and hymns and had spent winter as a boy in Basque lands, he decided he was going to translate this carol into English. And so that's how it became known as Gabriel's Message.
Okay, and that was in the 1800s?
Yeah, so this version of the song is from the late 1800s. So the lyrics are retelling a story in the Bible, in the book of Luke, when the archangel Gabriel comes to Mary and says that she will be the one to give birth to the Son of God. And this is known in Christianity, especially in Catholicism, as the Annunciation. A portion of Mary's response to this message is also included in this song, and its complete form is known in specifically Catholicism as the Magnificat. This song was the only one of two songs on A Very Special Christmas that had already been released in a previous form. This was a B-side on Sting's single Russians from 1985. If you remember his first solo album, The Dream of the Blue Turtles?
I do. That's one of the few things I like by Sting.
That whole album or the song?
Most of that album.
Yeah, that was his first foray into solo artist territory, and it was a very well received, very popular album.
The only Sting album or record I ever purchased.
Really? Mm-hmm. Actually, I think you still beat me, because even though I did like that album, I never owned it. But yeah, for some reason, he put this song on the B-side. I don't know exactly when in 1985 Russians was released. Maybe it was released around Christmas. Anyway, I guess he thought it fit in well. But they did reuse this song on this album. So this was like the only other way you could get it back in the day, unless you had bought the single.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
I remember that when Russians was out as a single, at least on the top 40 countdown I was listening to on the radio at the time, which was Dan Ingram's Satellite Survey. It wasn't the Casey Kasem Billboard.
Yeah.
3 weeks in a row, climbing up the charts. Russians and Elton John's Nikita were side by side. Like,
oh, that's interesting.
One song would jump up 8 and the other one would jump up 9. And it happened like 3 weeks in a row. He was laughing about it.
Oh,
like,
that he was.
That they were inseparable.
Yeah, Nikita and the Russians. Yeah, no kidding. Oh, that's funny. This ended up not being the only version of the song that Sting ever did. For some reason, in 2009, he re-recorded this for his Christmas album called If on a Winter's Night. And I went and listened to that, and it's a slightly lower key, and it's got a stringed instrument rather than synthesizers accompanying it. I think there's also maybe a saxophone in there. It's still a very... I know. Yeah, I'm not sure. It might not be a saxophone, but it's something like that. Anyway, it's a very pared down version of the song. I do like this version better, having heard that one and having heard this one. This is a really nice minimalistic version, like the song we just talked about, Coventry Carol.
Yep.
This is one where Sting's voice is definitely the focal point. There are many layers, lots of harmonies. It's almost like a round in certain places where he's kind of repeating himself in the background.
Right.
And there's very little musical accompaniment. Some very interesting pitter-pattery synth drums in the background, and some small keyboard sounds, like almost like recorders or, kind of instruments like that. Very old-fashioned, kind of a medieval sounding sound to him.
But they are very, very buried in the mix after he starts singing.
Correct. Yeah, it is, again, mostly a showcase for his voice and the vocals of the song.
Who would have thought Sting would want to direct all attention onto him?
Yeah,
his
really.
voice and himself.
Yeah, that's a shock. Yeah. Being in serious solo artist mode, as I read in some research of this song, he was in very serious solo artist brooding mode, and as evidenced by the video that accompanies this song.
All his videos and songs are in this time period. That's why I didn't really like him.
Yeah.
Because I just got the sense he was just trying to make me realize how smart he is.
Oh, yeah. There's a bit of pretension going on here. Did you get a chance to look at this video?
I forgot. I looked for all 3 other songs, and I forgot to look for this one.
Okay, I don't know if there is one for your second choice, but
No, there's not.
Okay, so this is the only one that has a video.
Okay.
And my goodness, what a video.
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, well, let me tell you a little bit about it, because it's Sting for sure. It's mostly video of children dressed in flowing lacy gowns like angels, and they're barefoot dancing on snow, and it's a very dimly lit area. It's very bright when it's focusing on the children, but then the rest of the background is very dark, and there's this dark, ominous figure in the center, and they're all kind of dancing in a circle around him, and you don't know who this figure is. Well, of course, later on, it turns out it's Sting. And it's chilling, actually, how he eventually shows his face and he's just brooding and he's glaring. And I don't know if he's trying to represent the devil or if it's just him being brooding and glaring. It's a really odd video. I mean, a little off-putting, honestly. Yeah, you should check it out just to see what he was doing at the time.
I'll have to watch.
Other than the video, though, I think this song is lovely. A very nice, simple Christmas carol, and I really enjoy this one.
I think it's okay. I sometimes skip it when I listen to the CD, but I don't hate it. My feelings about Sting are so weird. Like when we talked about every little thing she does is magic.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how like the other band members, they really enjoyed like having Sting bring a song to them, and then they would spend like 2 weeks telling them why it was terrible.
Yeah.
And they would work against him to try to change it and everything. Like when we were talking about that, I was like, oh, poor Sting. Like imagine having to do that 10 times an album. Like you bring 10 songs like and every single time you
please your case and fight your
And so I was feeling bad for him there, but then all the other time I'm just like, oh, Sting, he wants me to know how smart he is, and like look at all the symbolism in this video. And this melody. It's
well, he didn't come up with the melody, I don't think.
No.
I forgot to mention the review from the Odyssey online for this song. So why don't I share that with you? Because it sort of talks a little bit about what you've just said.
Okay.
And we're straight back to ballad mode. Despite the whiplash, this is one of the more obscure song choices. So just like Coventry Carol, another obscure choice.
Right.
Sting is in complete control here, backed by a synth-dominated track and adding voice tracks until a cascade of stings take over with amazing power.
With the amazing power of tantric sex.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, the rendition is so stirring and excellent. You wonder why more churches don't sing this song around this time of year. Well, so this reviewer really did like this song. And it is a good song for this time of year, unlike perhaps Coventry Carol.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I like this song. I think it's certainly not one you're ever going to hear on the radio. This one I don't think I ever heard on the radio, unlike Winter Wonderland. Maybe now on the satellite radio we would hear these songs, but not radio friendly, but Christmas friendly for sure.
Well, thanks, Sarah. That was a good opportunity to learn a little bit more history.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed. And we also got to badmouth Sting, which I always enjoy.
Oh, jeez. Okay. So for those of you wanting to do a police album in the future, I don't think you should get your hopes up.
All right. So my last song, Sarah, is a band that I do like.
Oh, yeah.
The Pretenders.
Good choice.
And this is their version of Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight.
As always, folks, I'm here with the hottest songs on the scene. So this song is the newest track that we're going to discuss.
Okay.
This current nugget comes from only as far back as 1944.
Oh, wow.
So it's like a little baby song.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So this was released in 1944 in a film called Meet Me in St. Louis, starring Judy Garland, which probably a lot of people know if you watch old classic movies. It is a film that, because of this song being in it, gets shown on TV with the crop of Christmas movies. In truth, only about 25 minutes of the movie takes place at Christmas time.
Okay.
But, it has this song, which is such a major thing that people think of it as a Christmas film.
Okay.
It is sung in the movie by Garland to her little sister, who is played by Margaret O'Brien, when it appears that their family is going to have to move to New York City.
Wow.
And Tootsie, the little sister, is worried that Santa won't know how to look for them there.
Oh, my. That is a big concern as a little kid.
Sure is. So the song was written by Hugh Martin and Ralph Blaine, although it wasn't really.
Oh,
because
okay.
Martin and Blaine sort of had an arrangement like Lennon and McCartney.
Okay.
So this song was written by Hugh Martin. He wrote the music and the words. He was having trouble finishing up the song and resolving the melody for it. And he just went back to the script and kept reading the scene, and he realized how heartbreaking the scene was, and it inspired him to finish the song, and it inspired him to write a really sad song. Judy Garland said to him, "If I sing this song to little Margaret O'Brien, the audience will think I'm a monster."
Oh, no.
And she asked him to rewrite the lyric, but they refused. He refused to do it. And so, like a week or two later, the young male lead in the movie, Tom Drake, sat down with Ralph Blaine and said, "You guys have got to stop being idiots."
The little kid said this. Well,
No, he wasn't a kid. He was like a young man.
Oh, a young man. Okay.
This was Tom Drake.
Okay.
He said, "You're going to shoot yourself in the foot with your career. Just rewrite the lyrics like they want you to do."
Yeah.
So they did.
Okay.
And so this was, I just wanted to read you the original lyrics.
Oh,
on the song.
good.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. It may be your last.
What?
Next year, we all may be living in the past.
Oh.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Pop that champagne cork. Next year, we all may be living in New York.
Okay.
No good times like the olden days. Happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us will be near to us no more.
Wow.
But at least we all will be together if the Lord allows. From now on, we'll have to muddle through somehow. So have yourself a merry little Christmas now.
Oh, my gosh. That is terrible. Wow. That may be worse than Coventry Carol. Wow. That's so, yeah. What were they thinking?
So they got a little bit of a rewrite for the scene
Yeah.
and made it a little better.
Yeah.
It's still kind of a sad song.
It is.
But, it does need to be It needs to be sad, but it doesn't need to be overwhelmingly tragic.
Yeah, like no hope in sight for you. That's what that one sounded like, the original.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, it goes through a couple more rewrites over the course of history.
Yeah.
In the 50s, Frank Sinatra was releasing an album called A Jolly Christmas, and he wanted to put this song on it for some reason, even though it's called A Jolly Christmas.
Yeah.
And so he asked Martin to change the lyric for him.
Okay.
So he came up with a new line, hang a shining star upon the highest bough, which I think is very well known.
Yeah, I
People
know that
line. And then even way later, in 2001,
What?
Hugh Martin was working with his local churches. He played at church a lot and worked with some various religious ministries.
The same guy all these years later.
Yeah.
Wow.
The last thing I read about him, he was 92 and working on a new musical.
No kidding.
Yep. He has since died. But
Okay.
So when he was working with the churches, he wrote all new lyrics for the song and turned it into a religious Christmas song called Have Yourself a Blessed Little Christmas.
Oh, okay.
So the song has been rewritten 3 times. There's been like 4 different versions of it.
But all by the same guy.
That's correct.
Okay, well then I guess that makes it a little more okay since it's him redoing his own work.
So many people have recorded it, as I'm sure you know. Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra, Doris Day, Ella Fitzgerald, James Taylor, Luther Vandross, Michael Bublé, Sam Smith, and the Pretenders.
Ah, yes.
That's who we're here to talk about today.
Yes.
Sam Smith was the first person and the only person to have a top 100 Billboard hit with the song.
Oh, really?
In 2014, it peaked at number 90
Wow.
as a digital download. And speaking of Hugh Martin at age 92, in 2007, when he was 92, I read an interview with him from that year.
Yeah.
And he asked the interviewer who had done new versions of the song that year for Christmas.
Oh, wow.
And the interviewer told him that he thought Sarah McLachlan had done one, James Taylor, and Amy Mann. They had all done new versions. But the person that Martin was most excited to hear had done the song was Twisted Sister.
Really?
Yep. He said, Twisted Sister, is that the group's name? That's a hoot.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's great.
I love that. I love that response.
Yeah, that's a hoot.
So he was very happy that Dee Snider and Twisted Sister had covered his song.
I have never heard that version.
I haven't either.
I may have to seek it out just to hear what it sounds like. I bet it won't be a hoot, though.
Probably not. So, the Pretenders, according to Vicky Iovine, they were the first band to record and submit their tracks. This was the first song done for the album.
Wow.
And she loved it. When she heard it, she was like, that's my favorite Christmas song, and that is a fantastic version of it. She's like, I heard that, and I knew we at least had a single that we could release from the album. If need be.
Very cool.
Chrissy Hines said about the song when she was being interviewed by Entertainment Weekly, I'm surprised that our version is very popular at all.
Oh.
I was in a particularly melancholy mood, so I don't think ours is a cheerful version. Singing it upset me. I was on the verge of tears. I was thinking about relationships and how things had changed and the people that I couldn't see and couldn't be with. But maybe that is what most people feel at Christmas, and maybe that's why people relate to it. So it seems like she just sort of was kind of channeling the original intent of the song.
True.
Maybe she didn't know that that's what the film dealt with.
Yeah.
But the lyrics, they get the point across so well that it put her in that mood, and she recorded it. I don't think anyone expects a version of this song to be particularly cheerful.
No.
So she shouldn't be too surprised about that. But I think that the Pretenders give a really, really good version of this song. They always deliver with the ballads, in my opinion. I mean, I love the Pretenders. I think their rock songs are awesome too. But if I were to classify like my favorite Pretenders or Chrissy moments, I would probably pick ballads.
Yeah.
This song is awesome. Angel of the Morning is a great one. I'll Stand By You.
Yep.
There's a song called Hem to Her, which is really beautiful. And then they have that other Christmas song, 2,000 Miles.
Yes.
That's a great song as well.
I love that one.
And those are all perfect examples of Chrissy just knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
Her vocals are always so well done.
Yeah.
And to go along with the great vocals, I think the accompaniment on this one is totally tasteful.
It is.
And perfect for a melancholy Christmas song. And that guitar is just, the sound they're getting on that guitar, whatever voice they're putting on it or effects they're putting through it, it's so clean sounding.
It is.
And it just is.
Like crisp fallen snow.
Yeah, and it really puts you in that sort of mood.
Yeah.
So the band that's playing with her on this one, if you're a fan of the Pretenders, you know that their lineup is kind of prone to fluctuate.
Yeah, much like The Cure.
Yeah, very true. And this was the lineup of the Pretenders that recorded the album Get Close.
Oh, okay.
In 1986. I looked at the people who appear on this song, and it's mostly all those people that were on that album. My last thing here, going back to the Odyssey for the review, they say, like Annie Lennox, the Pretenders' Chrissy Hine knows how to combine a straightforward reading of a well-worn standard with some of their respective embellishments. Their reading is dominated by a rim-shot-driven drum beat, bass, and a lot of guitars with what sounds like keyboards mixed in. At the center of it is Hines' strong, husky voice driven by vibrato and a few yelps.
Yelps.
A nice rendition. So I agree very much. This is probably my favorite version of the song that gets played on radio or that we have here in our collection.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think she just does a beautiful job with it.
Yeah. I know it's kind of a slightly depressing song, but again, I think this version does have a bit of a warm feel to it. It's still very inviting to hear.
Yep, I agree.
So it was a good choice.
Thank you. So those are our 4 Christmas songs from A Very Special Christmas.
Yes.
1987 edition.
The original and the best.
Yeah, I agree. So we hope you enjoyed that.
Yes. And we hope that you enjoy the rest of the holiday songs you might be listening to this season. And don't forget to share your favorite one with us so that we can enter you in that contest.
That's right. We'd love to have some more people share their festive Christmas songs on our wall and be entered in our little Pet Shop Boys giveaway.
That's right.
For the end of the year. That would be awesome. So as we sign off for the year of 2018, I just want to, on my end, Sarah, I just want to thank everybody who has been listening to the show since it started or even who discovered the show over the course of this past year.
Right.
I know we were lucky this year getting Andrew Dinley to appear on a couple shows.
Definitely.
I know that prompted some new people to find it. We were also very lucky to have our podcasting buddy John Lamoureux from The Hustle sit in with us over the summer for our summer mixtape episodes. Those were great fun.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact more than a few folks discovered our show that way. Getting mentioned in the Erasure Information Service weekly newsletter was a big help, as you would imagine. Oh my gosh.
The highlight of the year probably for the podcast.
And, of course, being mentioned on Wayne's Pet Shop Boys.
Second highlight of the year.
Website was awesome as well. So to everybody who has been nice enough to download and listen, we really appreciate that. If you've been nice enough to download, listen, and reach out to us, we really, really appreciate that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we love hearing from you guys, and we love writing back and talking about music and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. This has just been a great experience for us over the past couple of years. Really appreciate all the people we've gotten to know, all the music we've gotten to know as a result of you guys reaching out to us. It's just a lot of fun. It's a real treat to get to know other people that like our music or the same music that we like and just share stories and memories and insights, even on new things that are related to our old favorite bands.
Very true. So we hope you all have a wonderful holiday. Hopefully you'll get some time off from your work or your job, whatever it is, and you get to just relax and have fun with your family and your friends. Listen to some music maybe.
That's right.
We will, of course, look forward to talking with you all again in January
2019.
Oh my God, can you believe it?
So we're looking forward to talking with you more in 2019, discussing more great classic music with you.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.